All right, guys, so today we're doing notes 12.3. We're going to talk about prisms. We're going to find some areas. We're going to find some volumes on the next couple of pages. But let's look at one prism just so we can kind of remember some pieces to it. I'm going to draw some lines right here on the bottom of this 3D shape. This is a rectangular prism and the top. It's like the floor and the ceiling. These are the bases. The other parts that make up the shape are like the walls of a room. Those are the lateral sides or lateral faces. So the walls are lateral, the bases are the ceiling and the floor. Down here on the bottom, along the base, is a base edge. And these that are going from the bases, the lateral edges. Same thing on the other one. If I scoot over, this is a triangular prism. So these triangular pieces, even though it doesn't look like it, those are the bases. That's the bottom and the top. Which means all those rectangles connecting them are the lateral faces. And then, of course, we have the lateral edge. And we have the base edge. So we've kind of talked about those before. We're going to need to know those, though, because when we find the volume and surface area of these things, you need to know what shapes the bases are. So lateral area, that's the first thing we're going to learn. It's the sum of the areas of all the lateral faces. It's basically, we need to paint the walls. We need to find out how much paint we need. If you were doing this in a net, let me draw a quick net of a cube. This would be the walls, all this stuff right here. So if we had a net, we could find the area of each of those pieces and add it together. The total area is the walls plus the bases. And there are going to be two bases in most of ours. So it says the sum of the area of the lateral faces and the bases. So if I was going to take that same drawing, it would be all of it now. So basically it's adding in the bases. And then the other thing we're going to talk about today is volume. Volume is how much it takes to fill something, the amount of space enclosed in the interior of a 3D object. So now we'd be looking at something like a cube, a rectangular prism up top, and we'd be finding how much water I could fill it up with. So we have a new formula today. I don't know if you've seen this one before. I know volume on a rectangular prism, you probably know is base times length times height, which is essentially what this is. This is the area of the base, big B, times the height of the prism. Now, it's going to get a little confusing when we start getting into these problems because there's going to be two heights. There's going to be a height of the base and the height of the prism, so please be careful. And I'm going to give you a couple more formulas when we get on the next page, so let's go ahead and look at that part. Oops, sorry, guys. So it says name the prism below, then find its lateral area, or the area of the walls, its total area, which is the ceiling and floor added into that, and then its volume. It says use the shaded face as your base. So the first thing I'm going to do is name it. Well, that shaded shape at the bottom is a rectangle, so this is a rectangular prism. Now it wants us to find the lateral surface area, the total surface area, and the volume. Now, there's really a couple of ways you can do this. One way is you could go ahead and draw the net, and you could find the area of just the walls, add those together, then find the area of the bases, add those together. But there are formulas that you can use to find these. So here's what I want to show you. If you have the lateral surface area, I'm going to come out and write it right here. I'm going to put LA, the lateral surface area, is equal to big P times H. Big P is the perimeter of the base. And when I say H, I mean the height of the prism. And this can get kind of tough to tell. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to write big P, area of the base. Well, here's my base. I'm going to outline it in blue. Well, that's not going to be too hard to find. It's 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8. So 16 plus 12 will give us 28. So I got big P. Now I need the height of the prism, not the height of just a rectangle, but the height of the whole prism, which is 2. So now I can say that my lateral, I'm going to put LSA, lateral surface area, is 28 times 2, which is 56. Now it is area, so it's 56 units squared. So it's really not that bad. Now total surface area, this one's a pretty easy formula too. This is perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. That's what big B stands for, area of the base. So all I need to do is find the area of the base. I already have P, so we can go from there. So big B, that blue's the base. I got length times width, 8 times 6, which is 48. So for total surface area, I have P times H, which I already know is 56, plus 2 times 48, because there's 2 bases. When I throw all that into my calculator, I get 152. So my total surface area is 152 units squared. Now volume, we already talked about this one. This is big B times H, and that H that we're going to use is the same H that we used right there. So I'm going to come up here. I know that big B is 48, so volume times the height 2, and I get 96. But since it's volume, it's 96 units cubed. So those are the formulas, guys. We'll use them quite a few times. Let's look at a pretty easy one here. It says find the lateral and total surface areas and the volume of the cube if each edge is 5 centimeters. So I'm going to put 5 centimeters in all our important pieces. Now this is turned on its side. This over here, the shaded one's the base. So I know I need a couple of things. I know I need the perimeter of the base. I know I'm going to need the height of the prism. And I know I'm going to need the area of the base. And if I have those 3 things, I can pretty much do everything else. So perimeter of the base is pretty easy. Remember, this is the base. I'm going to outline it in red. Each side is 5, so 4 times 5 would give us 20 centimeters for the perimeter. The height, remember, that's the height of the actual prism. That's the other side, so the height would go from the bottom to the top. It's just 5 centimeters. Now the area of the base in this case is pretty easy. That red's my base. I need length times width. 5 times 5 gives me 25 centimeters. So now I have everything I need to find all the surface areas and the volume. Excuse me. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to rewrite all the formulas just in case. Lateral surface area is the perimeter of the base times the height. So I'm going to go up there and do that first. The perimeter of the base is 20. The height is 5. So my lateral surface area is 100 centimeters squared. Now I need total surface area. So I need P times H again, which I know is 100, plus 2 times my area, 25. Well, that's 100 plus 50. So my total surface area is 150 centimeters squared. And the last one, volume, big B times H. Well, I know big B is 25. I know H is 5. If I multiply those together, I get 125 centimeters squared. So it's really not that hard. Just find those variables and everything will get a lot easier. Now we're going to have to do a little work on the next one. So let's look at that one. This has 2 bases that look exactly the same. This is a triangular prism. Now I need all the same things: lateral surface area, total surface area, and volume. So I need to find the perimeter of the base. I need to find the height of the prism. And I need to find the area of the base. So this one's going to have a little work to it, at least on some of them. Now I'm going to outline the base right here in red. It's got side lengths of 10, 10, and 12, so it looks like I have 32 for my perimeter. 32 for my perimeter. The height is the distance between the bases. I'm going to outline it here in blue. That's 4. So we've got 2 of them. That's pretty easy. Now the area of the base, I'm going to redraw it over here. It's a triangle with side lengths of 10, 10, and 12. And I need to find the area. Now that's 1/2 base times height. But this height and this height are not the same, okay? This is just the height of this 2D figure, which I don't know. I do know that I can cut it in half and get 6 right there. And when I do that, I can use Pythagorean Theorem. I'm going to say that this is x. X squared plus 6x equals 10 squared. And if you remember, this is actually a triple, and you get 8. So I have the area, or big B, is 1/2. The base, which was 12, times the height, which is 8. 1/2 of 12 times 48 or I'm sorry, 1/2 of 12 times 8 is 48. So now I've got big B. Now I'm just going to write out the answers here, guys. I'll write the formulas one more time just in case you need them. But the video is getting kind of long and I want to finish it up. So I got the lateral surface area to be 128 units squared. Total is 224 units squared. The volume is 192 units cubed. All right, we have two more, but this is the only one that takes any time really. Again, we need perimeter of the base. Well, it's a hexagon. It's got 6 sides, so 36 is the perimeter. We need the height of the prism between the bases would be 12. So big B is really the one that's going to be tough. And to find it, we have to find the area of this hexagon. I know each side is 6, and I've got an apothem right here. I know that this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And if that's the case, I know this side is x, and this is x squared roots of 3. Well, if the whole bottom's 6, that means this x is 3, and that gives me my apothem to be 3 square roots of 3. Now, if you remember, it's 1/2 of the apothem times the perimeter. That's 1/2 of 3 square roots of 3 times 36, which you already knew. And when I multiply all this together, the volume, I get 54 square roots of 3. Now, I'd be careful when you plug the stuff into this one. It can be a little tricky on total area. But again, we know the formula, so we have all the names. This is a hexagonal prism. The lateral area is 432 units squared. The total area is that, plus the area of the bases, units squared. And then I got 648 square roots of 3 units cubed for the volume. So just be careful when you're finding those areas. One more, we're going to go through it real quick. This has trapezoidal bases, so it's a trapezoidal prism. The lateral area, again, we just need P and H. Let's see the perimeter of the base. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 5 is 16, plus 12 is 28. The height is 10, so I can find all those. In fact, I got the lateral surface area to be 280 units squared. Then we need big B. And in this case, it's a trapezoid, so it's 1/2 the sum of the bases times the height. So 1/2 of 12 plus 6 times, and guys, it's the height of the trapezoid, which is 4. If I was drawing it like this, that's the height. And then I can multiply all those together, and I get 36. So you can use those to find the rest. I got 352 units squared for total. I got 360 units cubed for the volume. So guys, that was a long one. I hope you didn't need all of it. If you need any help, just let me know.